is that there is an exemption of up to 12. It's not an exemption per se, but it's zero. You are not charged. That one you are allowed tax-free up to 12,570 a year. Then from then onwards, 20, 40, 45%. So this is the individual tax rates for people. So it comes from PAYE, payroll, if we are doing your payroll, and for those with companies, directors, self-assessment. That's how this individual tax is calculated. So the returns, I think the self-assessment returns should be filed by January, by the 31st of January every year. And I think they now want some money in advance. I think previously people used to pay after the event, so for the whole year and everything, then you pay, your accounts are filed later. I think you pay almost like in year 2. Yeah. But now, if you start filing, they will now they sort of like do an estimate to say, okay, now that maybe you have paid, let's say this year you're paying, let's say £500. So we assume that maybe you're gonna pay the same in the next year. So we now need it, you pay it now. We don't wait for January or end of January. Maybe mid-year you pay something, then by end you pay something else. So that we also get it real time rather than at the end. So if you then pay it all at the end, they may charge interest.
And that transition was very confusing for people, because I think for the last 2 years people have been getting almost a double tax bill, because the previous years we paid in arrears, we started paying in advance. So you're people are wondering, why is my tax bill seeming double? Yeah. So that's what that has happened, yeah. So I mean, the argument is that they're saying people on PAYE are paying their taxes every month. Where are people with businesses and directors self-employed getting the luxury of paying their personal taxes 9 months later, yeah? That's where the system was saying it's not fair.
No, the luxury is we work hard. We deserve it. But you know, we pay so much into the economy. We deserve a little bit.
So it is the compliance in these things which is needed, and it's we know you pay it by, you are supposed to be filed by end of January, but sometimes you just forget, and that's where the accountant comes. They will remind you, if you are their client, to say, directors, please remember January is coming. Provide if you have other. So many times what the accountant will be having is maybe for your company only, but you have other income streams. So when you are doing self-assessment, we need also the other, which we don't know, because everything has to be aggregated and put in.
So what is the boots tax saving?
So it just increases your tax savings.
Oh, okay. Putting it, okay. Putting it up, okay.
Yes.
I thought she was put pharmacy.
Yes, please. No.
Yes.
Yeah.
So that we file on time. Who do we help? Self-employed individuals. You need us to close the door now.
It's now.
Yeah.
So self-employed individuals, Uber drivers, healthcare professionals, individual property owners receiving rental income, individuals who trade stocks, crypto, support for individuals with multiple jobs. Because with multiple jobs, sometimes you are now supposed to be filing for self-assessment, because maybe your threshold has reached the level where you are supposed to be doing self-assessment. So you may not know, but you are receiving the salaries and enjoying until HMRC then says. So it's better to then tell your accountant that I have this other, so that so many people forget maybe to state that they also work and they are receiving, and it's under-declared. You have lied. But HMRC knows maybe is receiving a return from your employer to say we have paid you this, and you have filed a return without that other income which is filed with them. So to them, you want to avoid what is due. So it's proper to tell your accountant if it comes time for your self-assessment, the other income streams which may not be visible to the accountant, so that they include them.
And maybe just to add on that, sometimes even when you're under employment, yes, you're paying tax every year, but HMRC has been doing a lot of revisions over time regarding how much tax you've paid in your payee job. So they might sometimes, for compliance sake, they just send you letters to tell you, oh, we've realized you've been underpaying tax. This is the amount of tax that you need to pay back. And you're thinking, I've been paying tax every single month since I started this job. What do you mean I have more tax to pay? So a self-assessment in a way helps you mitigate that risk of, if I do my self-assessment, declare all my incomes, I know what my total tax is at the end of the year. If I need to pay that using a payment plan or one-off, you're also able to plan yourself through that. So it's more a tax planning way of looking at your numbers and your money to avoid those letters, just like the ones you receive being received by the companies. Individuals also tend to receive the same from HMRC. So it's more looking like, even as I'm working through my income streams, how can I be more tax efficient in those income streams? And how can I avoid surprises after a few years of the same? Yeah.
And there are some expenses that some people are eligible to claim. So healthcare, for example, there's a group of people who are working through PAYE, but there's a lot of expenses that they pay privately, whether it's a professional courses or all. It's allowed to claim through your self-assessment. So people didn't realize that there was an option to make some get a tax rebate for expenses that you're paying privately, even if you're fully on PAYE taxes, that you can claim back.
Yes.
As a company, can I get money back from the taxman? Because when we were employed before, you could get the taxman saying we overcharged you tax, and they would send you a check. Right? Can companies do that?
Yeah, they do that. But I think the difference with company tax is that all company tax returns are self-assessed. You send the information in. Whereas PAYE, it's the employer who sends the information in. If there is an error in the employee system, the tax is due back to you, not to the company that overtaxed you, So that's why you see more of the letters on the PAYE side, because of making sure the refund goes to the individual who was employed. On the business side, because we are the ones declaring the taxes, the refund will automatically show, Yeah.
It's very minimum, or you can see it when you are actually working it out.
Yeah.
And you even benefit it maybe before you even pay.
Yeah.
So that's where the accountant comes in to say you can claim this, you claim this, you claim this. That's you reduce even before you declare. That's what she's saying. Yes. So because it's you who has provided that information, you have worked it yourself.
Not a third party.
It's not a third party. So that helps a lot. Moving again to making tax digital for income tax. It's a new way for sole traders and landlords to report their income tax and